It's Davetona drive time for Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. Had to push this back a day. Had a busy day on Monday. Friends in town. Wanted to take some time out to go see them. And I wasn't going to have time after work to put this together. So, honestly, I need to figure out if I'm going to have time to put this together. I mean, you'll figure it out if you hear it. So, I'm going to go see Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie this afternoon. I am very, very stoked for that. So, I was going to say it's been a while since I've been to a movie. It's been a while since I've been to a good movie. I've never watched the series. I've seen bits and pieces and clips and stuff online of Nirvana, the band, the show. And I'm like, fuck, I need to... And I want to see this movie. I just want to, like... I've heard so many good things about it. And I'm going in more or less blind. So, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, it's been a busy news week for video games. We had stuff like the Sony State of Play, Highguard stuff. Let's start with Sony State of Play. They came out fucking swinging. Last Thursday? Sony held their State of Play. It was their longest State of Play. It was over an hour. And, damn, they put on a show. Like, I've heard people online talk about this, but I was saying it while I was watching. I'm like, this is like an E3 caliber showcase that they're putting on with this little State of Play here. I was very impressed with what they showed. And the stuff that I had seen before, like, looked remarkably better than they've shown it in the past. I think about how that marathon trailer that they showed toward the end. I was like, damn, they're like really... They're really banking hard on Marathon. But like the more... I don't know how they managed to pull it off, but the more I see Marathon, the more I'm excited to play it. Granted, I always rooting for them, hoping that Marathon would come out good, even though I'm not an extraction shooter kind of guy. But just the more I see it and the more I look at it, the more I'm like, man, I really want to like engage with this. So, but that wasn't the only thing they talked about. They talked about a lot of big stuff. Konami being back more or less. MGS4 freed from the shackles of PS3. A new Castlevania. A new Silent Hill, which we already knew about the new Silent Hill, but whatever that octopus game is. I want to know more about the Castlevania game. It's being done by Motion Twin and Evil Empire, which those are the Dead Cells and Rogue Prince of Persia people. I don't know if they deliberately came out and said, like, yo, this is a Metroidvania, or if this is going to be a roguelike in the style of like a Dead Cells. They showed a map screen that definitely gave off like, okay, there's some exploration, there's some save rooms and stuff like that. But I don't know, you can never be too certain. I would assume that'd be like, look, if we're going to make a new Castlevania game, like people need to know that people need to we know what people expect from a new Castlevania game. We just make something along those lines. But you never know with Konami. You really never know. Which is why this block of Konami announcements for the State of Play was such a surprise that like people reacted so positively to it. I mean, I was like, damn, they came out swinging. Oh God, what else? They showed off so much. There's that Rayman collection, which is out now, or that Rayman Anniversary Edition that's out now that has like 5 versions of Rayman 1. I love it when collections do that, where they just collect one game and have all of its versions in it. I think that's super fun and interesting. Because otherwise I would do something like that on my own to see what the differences are. And then they have that SNES prototype of Rayman in there. Apparently they made some weird decisions with that game in terms of its audio. Like the music is apparently very different, among other things. I don't know if I have a drive to play a Rayman thing right now, but I'm glad that thing exists for people who want it. And also the documentary stuff, it's a Digital Eclipse joint, so you know what to expect from them. But speaking of prototypes, I was really surprised about that Legacy of Kain thing. The Defiance Remastered. I've never played a Legacy of Kain game. Not really my thing. But this is a remake of Defiance, which was the final game in the series. It was on PS2. Maybe there was an Xbox version. I don't know. I know it was on PS2, though. And they advertised with it in the digital deluxe version. It comes with a demo of, I think it was called Dark Prophecy, which is apparently the unreleased sequel to Defiance. Which, that's cool as hell to put that in there. Even though I'm not a fan of the series, like, giving fans like access to what could have been, seeing like bits and pieces of like, this is where the series was going to go next, but it never happened. Like, giving them a playable slice of that's so cool. I wish more companies would do that. I understand why they don't, but I wish they did. There's that new God of War stuff I'm not really into. I'm just not really into God of War, personally. The only God of War game I played through to completion was Chains of Olympus on PSP, and that was fine. But I'm not really dying to play a God of War game. I played a little bit of that, the reboot one from, I guess it would have been 2018, right? And like, that played great and looked great. But I made a Gaming Trends video of it back in the day for the news. And after that video, I never thought about that game again. But it's a very well-made game. But I just don't have a drive to want to play it. Gosh, there's so much this State of Play. I'm just looking for a list. I should have had this pulled up. The story of this podcast, not having anything ready. Oh gosh, what else did they announce? The big things that stood out to me were the Konami stuff, the Legacy of Kain stuff, even though I don't care about it. I'm gonna be kicking myself for not like thinking of like what exactly it was they showed. Because it was just like bang, 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 like one hit after another. Even if it was stuff I wasn't interested in, like, they made me interested in it. I do like how that Metal Gear collection has Ghost Babel on it. I was kind of shocked that it wasn't on the first collection, but that first collection was already stacked. I have it on Switch, and I still haven't played it, and I'm really glad I didn't, because apparently they updated it to actually run fucking better. So, excited for that. There's that John Wick game. That's right. After I watched, like, Racevic put out a video about a John Wick video game and how, like, he could not believe that there wasn't one because it's just begging for a video game. And here you go, man. I immediately thought of Racevic when I saw that John Wick game. Did Namco announce anything? God. I have to pull up a list. All right, here's your list. Yeah, Castlevania. There's that Kena game. Never really played Kena. Saros. I really want to play Returnal. But I don't want to pay that much money for it. Like, it's one of those things where, like, oh, I want to mess around with it and play for a weekend. It looks kind of fun. It doesn't seem like a kind of game that I would, like, invest a whole ton of time into. But I don't know, it seems like a fun thing to just try out and play. Death Stranding's coming to PC. When they showed off the Death Stranding 2 PC trailer, I got my hopes up so high for, like, okay, well, now you got to put GT7 on PC. If this State of Play Direct can put, like, have an announcement for putting something on PC, like, you could put GT7 on PC. Give me Gran Turismo. That's all I want. We got more stuff of RE9 and Pragmata. Oh yeah, this was the Namco stuff. On the PlayStation Plus monthly games, or not, what is it? The PS Classics library, putting Tekken Dark Resurrection, the PSP Tekken 5 version, which apparently it's a great Tekken game, but really weird since it doesn't have local multiplayer. But whatever. And Time Crisis. They're putting the original Time Crisis on here And they're adding fucking gyro aim, since it's a light gun game. They're adding gyro aim to the game, which is great. I don't imagine it working too well, but that is a viable option to get that game re-released in some form. I think that's great. We need more Time Crisis. In some way. More light gun games. I don't know how we're going to do that. That weird like AI Time Crisis box that came out a few months ago that was actually like really impressive with the tech in there. If you ask me, that is a good use of AI. Getting light gun games to work on any TV, like it just does all like the tech processing on it in the back end like that. Like that's smart. That is really smart because that's like actually solving a problem. We saw more that Star Wars racing game. God, that looks so good. It's like the people are like, it's made by ex-Burnout people, so yeah, it looks a lot like Burnout. But the more I see it, the more I'm like, this is Star Wars Motorstorm, and that looks great. This looks so good. I cannot wait to play that. Of the games, that's probably the one I'm most excited to play. Got more 007. And yeah, and Dead or Alive coming back. That's really cool. Dead or Alive is really fun. I have very fond memories of playing a lot of Dead or Alive 2 at MagFest with some friends. So that's what Dead or Alive means to me. And I played a lot of that 3DS one too. But yeah, that's most of the stuff that came out of that State of Play that drew my interest. There's that game we saw that already. At that Xbox thing. I'm still not interested in it. But yeah, State of Play was very impressive. Hats off to Sony for actually putting on a hell of a good show. Nintendo got to step it up. Usually, like, Nintendo is always the one that has, like, the really fun, like, show with, like, stuff that people wouldn't expect, but people are still excited about seeing. And I had way more of that from this Sony Direct than I've had in the last couple of Nintendo Directs. So, that was very exciting. Okay, what else do we got written down on here? Highguard. You may have heard of it. Wildlight Entertainment. People who make Highguard. The makers of Apex Legends and Titanfall 2. They were hit with some layoffs. Unsurprisingly. I don't know how many people were laid off from the studio. I just know a good chunk of people were after the game was, I don't want to say not well received. It just received there's just a lot of negative press around Highguard. And specifically, just like how the game was shown and the fact that people just don't want another hero shooter type game, free-to-play shooter kind of game like that. It's another like wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. But there was, after all these layoffs happened, an ex-developer who was recently laid off from Highguard, I guess this is Josh Sobel, came out online to talk about just the negative press that this game had. And let me see if I can find a quote from him. This is what he said in a post on Twitter. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without the negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whims of the consumers, and consumers put absurd amounts of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. I got to agree with him. I don't think Highguard was like this like game-changing video game that like deserved all like the positive press in the world, but I also don't think it deserved all the negative press. Like people who were very up in arms about not wanting a game like this were very vocal about how much they didn't want a game like this. And it permeated to so much stuff, through so many things, to like so many people. Like people were like cutting off Highguard's head and putting it on a pike, man, and they didn't even play it. Hadn't even played it yet. I'm not saying they have to play it to have an opinion on whether or not that's something they want to play. But also, like, don't say you hate something because you haven't played it. I don't know, man. People were so upset about Highguard even existing, and I just didn't think it was worth the energy and effort to go into just, like, tearing down this game. Like, Highguard didn't fucking kick your dog, man. It didn't deserve this. It also didn't deserve your time and energy about how much you didn't want to play it. You know? If it's not a game you're interested in playing it, if you're not interested in playing it, then fucking leave it alone. Who cares? I don't care how much you didn't want to play Highguard. I don't fucking care. Though I do care if you have an opinion about it and just don't play it. You know? Like, to the point where, like, a buddy of mine, he was, I wouldn't say equally as excited to play it as much as I was, but was, like, still interested in playing it. And when it came out, he's like, yeah, I don't need to play it anymore. Like, the negative discourse around this game got to him. And he was excited to play it. He's like, yeah, I don't need to play this anymore. I'm like, what the fuck? The hell is wrong with you people? If you're interested in the game, don't let public people tell you not to play it. Go fucking play the game. You know? Even if you don't like it, play bad games. What's wrong with playing a game that you're interested in? Like, don't fucking let people tell you what not to play. You know? That's insane. That's fucking insane. Mr. Sobel has since deleted his X account. His Twitter account. Since he made those statements following his layoff from Highguard. Fuck, man. Highguard didn't deserve this. It doesn't deserve all the negativity it has. Purely because it's just not that interesting. It's not worth your time. It is not worth your energy to be this up in arms about a game you don't want to play. It's unbelievable. Fucking gamers on the internet fucking suck. Speaking of things that suck, apparently Sega ain't doing so hot. They recently announced they're like, hey, our profits this past year haven't been doing so hot. But in talking about all this, they did announce, they talked about like, hey, we have 4 major IPs coming out within the next fiscal year. So between now and March 2027, they have 4 major IPs. And I can only assume that some of those, it has to be at least one of them has to be from those big Super Games trailer thing they showed up at the Game Awards a couple years ago. So at the Game Awards, it was like in 2024, I think. Sega showed off this trailer where they announced a bunch of stuff that they were reviving a bunch of old IPs. They showed a new Jet Set Radio, a Golden Axe, I think, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and then they showed off that Shinobi game, which came out last year and apparently did very well, like critically. I've yet to play it, but I need to play it. It looks great. I feel like if we do hear anything from those, either the Crazy Taxi or the Jet Set Radio reboot are going to be the ones we hear from. I want to say after that trailer hit, we saw a little bit more of that Crazy Taxi game, either from like a leaked demo or a leaked video. Something happened with that. We got to see more of what that game is, what it looks like. That Crazy Taxi game has me very curious and also very skeptical. Like, Crazy Taxi doesn't come off as a game that can, like, Crazy Taxi is a concept. The game itself cannot, like, hold up to a full price tagged game. Like, I'm not paying $60, $70 for a Crazy Taxi game. You know what I mean? The game itself is just not designed as something like that. Unless they're trying to make it something like that, in which case I'm very interested to see how they pull it off. But from the footage that they showed off, the footage that we know of and seen, it looks like they are very, very much trying to recreate how those old games felt, which I think is great. But we don't know much more about what those games are, other than the fact that I think they're going for a multiplayer slant, which Crazy Taxi's never really been known for, but they've tried in the past with like Crazy Taxi Fair Wars on PSP. I've never got to really try that, so I don't really have an opinion on how multiplayer works in those games. But I feel like that's how you have to do it, though, right? Like, what is a new Crazy Taxi nowadays? Like, yeah, you could make a new Crazy Taxi and it play like the old one, like the same objectives and stuff like that, and it can be fun, but like, that's not enough. That's really not enough for a full price game nowadays. They can make it like a smaller downloadable budget title, but Sega isn't in the market to do that. I don't think they can do that right now. I think it'd be very beneficial for them. I feel like you can get a lot more people's hands on it. To be more interested and more inclined to try it out if it was like a smaller game with a smaller price tag, because it's a Crazy Taxi, you know? But yeah, I'd be very interested to see how they expand Crazy Taxi into more than just what it already is. Because even growing up with those games on like Dreamcast, its offerings were pretty thin. But I was also a child and easily amused about just driving a car in a 3D open world, you know? Pre-Grand Theft Auto. That was enough of a novelty. But you really can't get away with that anymore. It has to be something more. So I'd be very curious. At least they're going for it. They're trying. And I'm very curious and interested to see what they come up with. In Jet Set Radio, it visually looks like quite different character-wise from like the past games, but you know, I'm not too bummed out or like dissatisfied with that. Like, you kind of have to constantly reinvent that series for it to stand out. Like, visually, Jet Set Radio Future was a major step up from regular Jet Set Radio while still retaining that style. I didn't quite get that from the little video teasers they showed of that new Jet Set Radio they're working on, but that also looked very early. But I don't know if I can see them like tweaking it too much, but we'll see. We'll see what that comes up. We'll see how that handles. What that looks like. I feel like with a new Jet Set Radio, you have a lot more leeway into like more flexibility into what that could become. We kind of saw with Bomb Rush Cyberfunk what a more modern take on that style of game would be, while still like holding itself to the roots of what Jet Set Radio is, for better and worse. So I would like to see how that type of gameplay is expanded into a more AAA style video game. We'll see. I'll play it. I'm excited to play it. Hopefully Sega can bring it around. I'm sure they're fine. Like, yeah, their profits were down, but I'm sure they're gonna be just fine. Don't know about that Yakuza stuff though. That is not doing super hot for them. Last news thing I want to talk about. I like pinball. I would say I'm a pretty big fan of pinball. I have a pinball machine at home. I have like one of those Arcade 1-Up virtual pinball machines. I've modded it to have more tables on it, and I can add more tables to it if I want to. I really enjoy that thing. It got me more interested to play real pinball, more pinball video games and stuff like that. Now, Stern, the people who make all those licensed pinball games and pinball machines that you see all the time now, they're making a Pokemon one. It's based off the first season of the anime. And apparently it's, I don't know when it's coming out, but like Pokemon Stern Pinball went from like teaser announcement to like, oh, people are playing it right now in like the span of like a week or two. It was like really a really fast turnaround. I thought they had like made that announcement like, hey, we got the rights, we're going to be making it and it's coming in the future. But now that shit's done. It's ready to go. I watched a video of it and I'm like, okay, this looks fine. This looks fun. I definitely want to play it. And there's a good chance that our local arcades up here are going to be getting it. I'd be surprised if they weren't going to get it. I feel like the only thing holding it back is the fact that it's Pokemon. It's probably going to have a huge demand for it. But with it being a pinball machine with a very specific player base, that I don't know how they feel about brand names or like branded pinball machines. Like I feel like as long as it's a new pinball machine, pinball fans could care less what the crossover branding is. It's just a new pinball machine, you know? So I feel like they're gonna find a player base no matter what. But I feel like the fact that it's Pokemon is gonna greatly expand the player base of pinball. I feel like this is gonna bring in more people who wouldn't normally play pinball to be like, hey, it's Pokemon, I want to try it. I like Pokemon pinball. This is not Pokemon pinball, for one. Not even close. Not like the games. This is old school, straight up regular ass pinball. Just with Pokemon stuff on it. But I feel like if people get like Pokemon fans who like introduce themselves to pinball via this and realize like, oh, this is fun as hell, and play more pinball machines, like I could see this particular machine having a very positive impact on the pinball industry, pinball culture, the player base. And I think that's really cool. I don't know if they've announced dates for when this is actually getting into people's hands. People are already playing it. But in terms of like for when arcade distributors are going to be able to get their hands on it for customers and stuff. I really want to play it. I'm really looking forward to trying it. Yeah, that was a lot of news this past week. In terms of stuff I played, there was one video game I played more than any other this past week, and that was V-Rally 4 from 2018. Humble Bundle. Jesus. I keep saying Humble Monthly because that's where I get most of my games now. But Humble Bundle had a Nacon Racing Games bundle. It's mostly just like, it's from KT Racing. I think that's the name of the company, the name of the developer. Most of the games of this bundle were by them. And Nacon published it. But it was mostly of rally games. So like WRC 7 through 10 and WRC Generations. But it also had Isle of Man TT 2 and 3, which are like motorcycle racing sims based off the Isle of Man TT, which that already had me interested because I'm a Manx TT Superbike fan. So I'm like, oh, I wonder what a realistic simulation of that game would be like. So I was interested in trying this bundle out for that. But also, this bundle at the very bottom of like the cheap tier, it was like, oh, we have V-Rally 4 in here. I'm like, okay, sure. Honestly, V-Rally 4 was the game that I was most interested in trying, because I've played past V-Rally games on like PlayStation and stuff. I know this is a very different thing. It's mostly like they took the brand, they took the series name, just like, hey, it's just a rally game. I don't know what I was expecting. I was thinking it was maybe more arcadey, but this is definitely more sim-cadey. Like, definitely more in the style of like old school Dirt and Project Gotham Racing in terms of like how realistic they wanted to feel. Like, they wanted to feel realistic while at the same time being very playable and fun. And I am having a great time with V-Rally 4. I'm playing the hell out of it, enjoying the hell out of it. I think it's great. You got your rally events, you got your rally cross events, you got off-road dune buggy events, trophy truck events, stuff like that. They have extreme Kana events that I'm avoiding like the plague because I hate that shit. But I've been playing a lot of the career mode. And you pretty much just like hire and manage your racing team, like your mechanics, your sponsor, you like accepting sponsorships and contracts when doing races, and just managing your crew, managing your vehicle, like doing repairs and stuff like that. It may sound daunting, but it's incredibly streamlined, where it's not a huge hassle to worry about. Like, you can just you more or less just hire up as many people as you can and just do races to cover the cost of like buying a new car, and also the cost of you have to manage the payroll of your mechanics and stuff like that, and your engineers. But as long as you're winning races, which you will be winning races, like, that pays for itself, and more or less you don't have to worry about it. Because, yeah, I thought that was going to be like a bigger hassle than it was, because I've played other racing games where I'm like, man, I just don't want to deal with this stuff. But other than like the tutorial being a bit long-winded, like, it leaves a lot for you to kind of figure out for yourself in the end. Like, it gets you through the basics, and then once it lets you free, it gives you time to figure out some stuff on your own for you to discover. And that's actually really rewarding, because the stuff you do discover on your own is like super helpful. I feel like a lot of that stuff should be more properly explained, but the fact that I figured it out on my own made it like very like, oh, hell yeah, I figured this out. Like, that's cool. I don't know. I got more enjoyment out of that aspect more than most people probably would. But I'm also like really engaged with this game for me to like, I'm actually interested in tinkering with its systems to figure out what else I can learn. And I was rewarded handsomely for it. So that's neat. You could probably get away with not doing a whole lot of that stuff, but the fact that it rewards you for wanting to play with it, I think that's very smart. The driving itself feels very good. It's very, like I said earlier, sim-cadey. You need, like, it takes a lot of practice to go through these rally stages. Like, you're going to be restarting from the beginning a lot, because sometimes you're just going to be hitting these corners and you just are losing control of this car. But that also like makes it super fun and interesting to just like, you're learning the car and you're learning the track. You're trying to like tame this machine while trying to navigate this track at a high speed. Like, that's just, for me, that's just inherently fun and exhilarating. One gripe I do have with this game is the co-driver. I feel like, so if you're not familiar with rally, you have like a point-to-point rally stage where you're like racing from one end of the stage to the other. For the most part, though, the driver doesn't really know what's coming up because he's just focusing on trying to survive each corner. So you have a co-driver in your passenger seat giving you a list of commands and telling you like, okay, this turn, not an extreme turn, but like make sure you may want to slow down for it. But like they figure out like commands are like, hey, left 6 over crest into right 5, you know, like the higher the number, the less severe of the turn it is. So like the driver can know like how much to lean into a corner, how much to slow down, how much to like, oh, there's a crest. I gotta, there's a jump coming up. Oh, I gotta make sure I'm prepared to turn right after this jump. So it does a lot of that. So it does that, and it does it fairly okay. My problem is that it will list off too many commands for you at once while you're still going over elements, and he'll start listing out more stuff for you to see. So say he says like left 4 over crest into right 3, don't cut, right? So it's like left 4 over crest, over a little bump into a right 3, which is like a harder turn, don't cut, meaning there's like probably something that prevents me from cutting the corner too tightly. So I'm going like, okay, I'm going over the left 4, I'm hitting the crest. As I hit the crest, he'll start saying like, and then right 5, don't cut into short left 4. I'm like, bro, I haven't even hit right 3 yet. And that messes with my mind. So I'm like, I hear right 5, I'm like, okay, right 5. But like, no, this is the right 3 that he had said earlier that I hadn't hit yet, that I hadn't driven through yet. And it messes me up more often than it should. And that's kind of frustrating. But when he says the commands, when he's reading the pace notes, which is what those are, they're little icons that appear in your HUD that tell you like, hey, this is what's coming up, and they'll highlight as you're hitting that turn. So those don't go away after he says it. They only go away after you make those turns. So the commands are up on the screen. It's just I'm listening. I'm not really reading what is being said because I'm so focused on driving. So I don't know. There's a little bit of ADD at play here, of like I'm trying to focus on driving. You're saying too many things, and I'm getting them mixed up with what is like actually in front of me. It's the only time I've ever had this problem in a rally game. But I try to work through it. I just do a bunch of restarts and know ahead of time, like, okay, no, this is how he's reading the pace notes. I haven't looked if there's a way to like change the frequency of how quickly he reads out these pace notes. There might be a setting in there. I don't know. But even then, the driving feels really fun. It feels really good. It's just fun to play, and I keep playing it, so I will probably keep at it. It's my current new rally game. I've run out of rally games to play, so this is the one I'm currently playing right now. I just need a good rally driving game just to keep me occupied, and that's what this one is. But yeah, that's what I've been playing, and I think that's going to do it for this episode of Drive Time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. I'm sorry this was a day late, but I had to see my boy. I hadn't seen Nick in a while. South Carolina boy. I had to sell him some Warhammer stuff. Anyway, I'll see you next week for another episode of Drive Time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I'll see you then. Take care.